You can see a couple of little flurries and rain showers in a couple of locations, but in general, we're not looking at too much in the way of impact. Beyond that, 40s and a couple of 30s to the east. Some 50s, though, starting to pop out to the west, and this could be something we watch later on this week. Lows tonight, upper teens and mid-20s in many locations with partly cloudy skies overall. Then we watch the thermometer later this week. We'll talk about that and go through the rest of your forecast coming up. But until then, midday in KELOLAND starts right now.
Live from KELOLAND Media Group, midday in KELOLAND.
Mount Rushmore and other national park land faces new rules regarding tour flights. Plus,
misery and death continue as the war rages in Gaza. I'm Ian Lee with the suffering on both sides of the border.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having us in. The Sioux Falls man is behind bars this midday after allegedly robbing a bank. Sioux Falls police respond to reports of a burglary at the First Premier Bank early this morning. Witnesses from across the street saw the suspect messing with the windows of the buildings on 14th and Minnesota. David Larvey Jr. allegedly broke two windows that led to different offices. Reports say he took office-related items. The 41-year-old was arrested for third-degree burglary, intentional damage of property, carrying a concealed weapon, and theft. And weather, pretty chilly out there, but not a whole lot of activity as we launch our first full week of December, Adam.
Yeah, there really isn't going to be much in the way of active weather to talk about over the next couple of days, but there are a few things to discuss, one of which happening basically as we speak. If you look carefully at the trees in downtown Sioux Falls, still a little bit of that rime ice on there from our freezing fog earlier this morning. It's the closest we've had to looking like winter. 34, a south wind at 8 miles per hour. A calm breeze, especially considering what they're dealing with out west. In Rapid City, it is a different story where we have a sustained west wind at 22 miles per hour, 45-year air temperature out that way, and we're going to be watching the anemometer for a little while longer, considering it is going to be rather blustery, and that's be putting it lightly for lack of better terms. So we'll continue to see the temperature also rise a little bit more. Not yet. We'll get there, though. We're already 50 in Winter, 49 for Pierre, 45 Rapid City and Mobridge, 47 Faith, 37 though in Marshall, 32 Brookings, 30 Watertown, Ortonville, and Spencer. 10 warmer though as you jump back over into South Dakota. That's what we're seeing at the marina in Yankton. So here are those sustained winds. Again, we're fine east river, 5 to 10 miles per hour. We can deal with that. But out west, 20 to 30 miles per hour, even a sustained wind of 38 miles per hour in Faith, 36 miles per hour for Buffalo. That's not counting any gust that we've seen over the last hour. This is precisely why we have wind advisories in tan from Mobridge to the Nebraska border and over from I-90 from Rapid City to Spearfish into the Wyoming border area. Wind gusts may reach 50 miles per hour in that neck of the woods, but then you fill in the gap over toward Buffalo, Belle Fourche, Eagle Butte, and Faith, and Bison. There's a high wind warning for that area. Same time frame. Gusts may reach and exceed 60 miles per hour. So please be mindful of that if you are going to be headed out and about this afternoon. Beyond that, we'll have high temperatures ranging in the upper 30s to mid to upper 40s in southeastern KELOLAND. A similar spread to a lesser extent up to the northeast, upper 30s again, but this time mid 40s will be your high watermark, Miller and Huron. Out west, better opportunity to see 50s, but again, we're going to have to deal with that very stiff wind. We have warmer weather to talk about for the midweek outlook. More on that and your forecast coming up.
All right. Thank you, Adam. Winter will soon be here, and it seems the days are getting shorter and shorter. Less daylight during the winter months can lead to some people having seasonal affective disorder, also called seasonal depression. And everyone has their own ways of staying healthy and happy during the cold.
Finding one thing that you like about winter and expanding on it. I sound like a little new age, but I mean, yeah, I think that's one thing that I found when I've gotten like pretty low about winter is like when it does snow, that's one thing I'm excited about.
Just remind myself that in 25 short days, the days will be getting longer again.
Coming up in tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, Lauren Solik brings us tips from a therapist about how to combat seasonal depression. Fewer airplanes and helicopters will be flying tourists over Mount Rushmore and other national monuments and parks. The new regulations are intended to protect the serenity of some of the nation's most beloved natural areas. The air tours had pitted tour operators against visitors frustrated with the noise for decades, but it has come to a head as new management plans are being enforced. One of the strictest yet was at Mount Rushmore in Badlands National Park, where tour flights will essentially be banned from getting within a half-mile of the South Dakota sites starting in April. North Dakota Republican Governor and businessman Doug Burgum announced today that he is suspending his 2024 presidential campaign after struggling throughout his whole bid to get name recognition from voters. Burgum's announcement came after he did not meet the requirements to qualify for the third GOP debate last month and seemed unlikely to meet them for this debate scheduled for Wednesday. Burgum indicated in a statement that the Republican National Committee's requirements to compete in the primary debates played a pivotal role in his decision to end his campaign. The Israeli military is expanding its hunt for Hamas, taking its ground offensive to every part of the Gaza Strip. It's ordering evacuations, but Palestinians say they're running out of places to go. A warning that some of the images are difficult to watch. Here's CBS News' Ian Lee.
As Israel expands the war in Gaza, so does the devastation and despair.
We're pursuing Hamas wherever Hamas is hiding, in the north and in the south.
But the people of Gaza are paying the price. Saeed Shaheta says he pulled his baby brother's lifeless body from the rubble. My brother's name was Mohammed, he says. He asks to say goodbye one last time. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry now puts the death toll above 15,000. Israel's military continues to drop leaflets ordering residents to evacuate their homes.
In Gaza,
every day, Israel Defense Forces say they find more tunnels, claiming around 800 so far. With tensions mounting in the region, America's military is responding. Over the weekend, the USS Carney naval destroyer shot down drones fired at commercial ships in the Red Sea. Iran-backed Houthi rebels claimed responsibility. With the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas broken, more than 130 hostages remain in Gaza. 8 of them American, including 23-year-old Hirsch Goldberg Poland.
If Hirsch can hear this, just know we love you. Stay strong. Survive.
Pain on both sides of the border as the war rages with no end in sight. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
A group of Senate Democrats say without meaningful steps to protect civilians in Gaza, they will block U.S. military aid to Israel. That could come up for a vote sometime this week.